So, the development of the mammalian reproductive apparatus. We have three sets of anatomies to talk about. There's the gonads, there are the ducts, and there are the genitals. And I shall make a little diagram, little flowchart in some ways of what happens. So there we go. We got the three sectors here for the three sets of parts, and I'll label this one up here with a female and this one over here with a male. And the key here is to remember that although I'm putting in a chromosome designator, this in and of itself only operates as an initiatory signal. It doesn't define anything after that. And don't forget, that evolved after everything else I'm talking about. So all these mechanisms for putting together these reproductive parts actually was in place prior to the evolution of that signal in mammals. That said, let's take a look at what happens. Given that signal in an individual with double X chromosome in mammals, the gonads develop in the abdomen as the ovaries. Now, what do the ovaries do as the embryo develops? They make gametes. They make ova. This is when those ova are produced. They do not, on the other hand, produce any sex hormones at this time. That's going to wait until later in life. So that occurs with the gonads. Now, in the ducts, derived from gut tissue and mesothelia, we have the oviduct form. And the oviduct is subdivided into a number of different things with special names for humans, but I'll use the regular mammalian names. And we have the ovarian tubules, uterus, and cervix. Now, all of these are put together again as a completely separate set of anatomy, and outside the body, or outside the body cavity, with skin and other layers of tissue, the genitals are forming. One of the primary parts is derived from the inguinal canal from the body cavity to the exterior, and in the case of these individuals, this develops into the vaginal canal. On the exterior, there form the labia and the clitoris. Now, all of these events require a large number of substances and genetic cues of different kinds. To say this occurs by default makes it sound like it occurs by magic or in some sort of instant way, and none of that is the case. This is an extraordinary, complicated set of different developmental signals and cues. When we hop over to the male, what we find is that the very same set of systems and cues is in place with some modifications. And the first modification occurs due to the signals from having the XY pair of chromosomes. And in this case, the testes develop in precisely the same place because they are, as I shall indicate with this equal sign, the same organ, technically homologous. We have here the very same part being signaled to develop in a different fashion, and the activity is different as well. For one thing, sperm are not produced at this time. So that's different from what the ovaries are doing in the equivalent time. And then secondly, hormones are being produced. And I want to talk about a couple of these substances. There is, of course, a form of testosterone called 5-alpha dihydrotestosterone, which I will simply call testosterone. It's one of the multiple forms. And also another substance which has lots of different names. I will use the original one. It's probably obsolete. HY antigen. Now, we have here, therefore, these two, the same organs, occurring in different form and with slightly different activities. Now, when we take a look at the ducts, the consequences of those hormones are profound. And I'll actually go ahead and use colors to indicate that. The oviduct, for example, is suppressed, and I shall use little color here to do that. I'll circle the HY antigen and indicate its activity. The HY antigen has suppressed the oviduct. In the presence of the testosterone, on the other hand, there's a formation of a completely different set of ducts, this time not from the gut tissue at all, but from kidney tissue, and you end up with the variety of seminiferous tubules. Prostate, vas deferens, all those subdivisions. And so that is the result of testosterone in action. Then here, what's happening in the genitals. Again, the impact of the testosterone is the key. The inguinal canal closes. The body wall is now closed at the base of the torso. And then the labia similarly have no opening. The result is therefore a scrotum. And the clitoris develops, or rather the analog to the clitoris develops instead into a penis. Now, before all this happens, the testes move from the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal into the scrotum, and then the canal closes. All of these are due to the effect of testosterone.